How did you use new media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? So we used Flipcam, and that's
what we're recording on right now.
Yeah, we used it for the focus groups.
And for the credits in our film.
Yeah.
Because it's quite good quality, easy to use.
And it must have been the same quality as the camera we used to film, because
you can't tell the difference on the clip, because we didn't use a flip to use to record our film. We originally, to film, we used one of the school cameras, but when we were uploading the footage to iMovie, it was like sticking as it went along. We just thought it was the Mac being slow.
Yeah.
But when we watched it back on iMovie, when it had stuck uploading, that's how it had transferred across. So we'd have had to refilm anyway, but we were going to do that anyway.
We decided to refilm, and we changed like the setting and everything.
And the characters.
Yeah,
like
and
the
then we
actors.
changed the camera, and
we had 2 digital cameras. We had yours and mine.
yeah, and originally we were going to use mine, but when we watched it back, well, we did a couple of takes, then we watched
Just like
them back,
practice shots.
and it kept jumping. So Lucy got her camera, and everything was fine with the picture, but then when we come to upload it on to iMovie,
the sound was like really poor, and like you could hear, like obviously the people were talking, but you couldn't quite make out what they were saying, and there was a lot of white noise, which is why we ended up deciding to do the voiceover, which we recorded through the Mac.
And on iMovie.
We've had a lot of problems with the Macs.
Mainly because they kept sticking.
Yeah,
The network was a big issue for us.
Because it's like the whole school network, so it was like really, really slow as we were trying to do stuff.
Our project was saved on there, onto the network, so it was getting really slow.
And there was like, as we were editing, it would like freeze and stick like as we went along, so it took us at least twice as long as it should have to edit.
And it crashed at one point, and
yeah, we'd done like a good 2 hours worth of work, and it just crashed, and we had to redo it all. So now we know to save as you go.
Yeah, we also filmed our evaluation on iMovie, but it didn't work.
We've recorded this question once already on a Mac on the new version of iMovie, and it was about 10 minutes long. But I only decided to record 3. So now we're redoing it.
Yeah, we edited an iMovie HD, but we filmed that one on iMovie.
Like the new version.
Yeah.
We don't like the new version.
Yeah.
And we're not doing anything on the new version ever again. So, we also recorded our voiceovers through iMovie. We found it quite difficult to like match up the voiceover to the clip, and as well to match it up in time. Instead of doing like one long voice clip, we did like sentence by sentence.
So we recorded the voiceovers on iMovie, and there were a lot of white noise in the background.
And it jumped and changed, like it changed pitch and stuff like that, so we ended up just recording just plain white noise and looping it through the whole background, so that for continuity, etc.
Yeah. We also filmed some voiceovers in GarageBand. We filmed The Whisper, which we then looped.
Repeated, etc.
Yeah, and we
the
did
music as well in GarageBand.
We could only find originally happy music, so we decided that we
put it over.
Yeah, to put it over the flashbacks, because it represents more of a happy time for Alex, and obviously the 2 characters. And then we had we've got the repetitive voices and just the voiceovers in the rest of the film. As
well, when we uploaded it to, we had to export it to iTunes to put onto iMovie, and we found that whenever we did that, it came through like really, really loud, because initially we wanted the whispers to be quite quiet and like gradually build, but even when you put the audio level like right down, it was still really loud, so we just had to have loud whispers. Which was different from when we recorded stuff through iMovie, because that was just normal level.
Yeah.
So, another thing with iMovie as well, when I think it took us about 3 lessons to get all of our footage actually onto the Mac, because
Yeah,
it just
it took
took
a while.
whatever.
It kept freezing.
Yeah. And it was just taking a ridiculous amount of time.
But it did have a lot of footage though.
Yeah. What else?
For the ancillary tasks for the poster,
We used Photoshop.
yeah, and we just used loads of different like technical aspects of Photoshop to play with the colours of the hands and the pictures, and we just like played around with it mainly to then kind of, we then ended up creating
Five different posters, because there's so
photos.
much you can do.
Yeah.
Like with Photoshop, we just thought we'll make 5 different ones.
Yeah, we thought why not try them all.
And then we did a focus group, and they helped us choose which one to use for our final ancillary product. So that happened.
And then we used, for the magazine review,
We used Word, and it was a nightmare. Word on the Mac is different to Word on a normal computer. Like when you press the up and down arrows to move like a picture or some text or something, it moves it like quite a lot on the Mac, whereas on a computer it moves it like a little amount, so you can get it more precise and stuff. And we'd done quite a lot of stuff on the Mac, emailed it to our home account so that we could do it outside of school. And then once we had, when we opened it up on the computer, like a normal computer, everything had changed, and it had like changed layout and everything, so we had to redo it all. And then we finished it, saved it back, sent it back to the Mac. Then when we opened it on the Mac, it changed again, so we just had to redo it from home and do it from there, just because Word on the Mac is ridiculously
we used like screenshot and grab on the Mac for
quite a lot for
the
pretty much
pictures,
everything.
the research,
Yeah.
all kind of stuff like that. We used SpiderScribe and Prezi. We used them for research, evaluation. SpiderScribe is pretty easy to use. It's quite good
It's
in
quite
regards
clear,
to
like, it's a
layout.
clear layout, isn't it?
Yeah, and
It saves it like as you go, like you don't have to click save. It saves your work
so
every
if
like 2
anything like
minutes.
crashes or anything.
Yeah, it's saved
it's
already.
And then with Prezi, it's a bit more complicated, especially with PowerPoint, because we did use PowerPoint in one of our research posts.
It was the first one that we did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of the film analysis, and we used PowerPoint, but we couldn't like embed it or make a link to it or anything into our blog. So I think we ended up exporting it as a QuickTime, putting it into YouTube, and then doing it that way. Which was just annoying to do. It just took too long to do, so we ended up just using Prezi the rest of the time. It looks better as well because there's different transitions and stuff.
It was quite, I don't know, complicated to use, I feel.
Quite visual though, so it's good in that sense. And we couldn't actually figure out how to embed it into the blog, so we just took a screenshot of like the first...
I know how to hyperlink. I've linked some into
hyperlink,
research.
but not embed. So we put a picture and then we hyperlinked the picture to the link, so that when they clicked on the picture it took them to the real Prezi. SurveyMonkey we used for question 3 in our evaluation. Because it's about
audience feedback.
So we emailed like friends, family, teachers, etc. with the
Mainly our
movie.
target audience.
Yeah, with the movie and the survey.
We need a banner of colour.
And then with our video as well.
It's quite difficult to
Our
use
film.
to begin with. SurveyMonkey.
Yeah. But it's easy for the people filling out the questions.
Yeah, like to create it to begin with, it's quite confusing because there's so like much that you can do with it. It's difficult to choose like what to do, but as well
It was good for us as well because we made it so they couldn't skip.
skip a question, because we find that like if someone doesn't know how to answer a question, like for example, what was one of the ones we got a lot of, I don't know, is would you recommend it to your friends and family? A lot of people would have been like, oh, I don't know, so I'm just going to skip this question. But we put each question so they had to answer it so that we could get an answer for everything.
Yeah, and it was better for our feedback as well because
Yeah.
we got like a range. And it was also anonymous, so we got honest feedback
So
and
if
critique.
Yeah,
that we
I find
could.
that if people knew, like, that it was them that was giving negative feedback, that they tend to just lie and give positive. But because we made it anonymous, we got honest
Yeah.
feedback, which was good.
We also set up a Twitter account. We set that up the beginning,
Yeah, the
before we even got our idea, because we mainly used it at the beginning for, we tweeted out all the different ideas we had,
And we got some audience feedback on that as
Yeah.
well, so that was good.
and then,
It was mainly to just tweet like our progress.
Yeah.
Um,
but as we progressed, we linked less
yeah.
on Twitter, because obviously,
There was so much for us to link, like on the
And
blog to
a
Twitter.
lot
We
more
just
stress.
thought it's not. There's too many blog posts, so we ended up just tweeting like our thoughts and
yeah.
feelings.
And then YouTube, we
We
all
have
of the videos are on YouTube.
yeah. It was it's the account that we used last year for our coursework as well, and we just used the same account because we're in the same group as last year. And it's got like our focus group, our PowerPoint that we exported as a QuickTime, our film,
Yeah.
probably this as well, is going to be through YouTube. And then from there we could like embed it into the blog so that everything's there on the blog and they don't have to go onto different websites for different things, etc. I think that's it, isn't it?
That's about it.
Apart from the blog, obviously,
Yeah,
it's
the
like
blog.
the main,
WordPress.
yeah.
We had trouble with the blog because
Over October half term, wasn't it? Like we were going to do.
It's because we didn't use WordPress. We used it through school WordPress. So obviously that
It's like a different.
it was different and that caused an issue. And it also meant ours was down over October half term.
Because we
So we
went to
couldn't
do
do
some
any work.
research separately at home over the holidays, and I went to log on to do a blog post, and it just wasn't working at all. And I just saw it with my computer, so I tried my mum's laptop, I tried Nextdoor, and then I asked Sharon if she could access it, and she couldn't either. And then when we came back to school, it wasn't working on the Macs either, and it was just our blog. Like no, everyone else's was working.
And it's because we did it through the school network.
Yeah.
So clearly
The server was
nothing,
down or
nothing
something.
needs to be done through the school network.
Yeah. But then it got fixed, and we
Yeah.
just did like a mass blog post afterwards about everything that we'd done. So that's pretty much it. Like technology-wise, we've just used a variety of different cameras. The Macs obviously played a big role. iMovie and GarageBand for our editing. For our research, like Prezi, Google a lot,
Yeah.
and SlideShare, SpiderScribe. So yeah,
That's about it.
end.
The end.